Hi there, welcome to the second podcast with me and Edison. We had a lot of fun the first time around, so we figured we want to do another one. And we're going to talk about, what happened this year, 2023, very happening year for real estate. And then also we want to talk about some stuff that will probably affect us in 2024. And more importantly, this is something very close to my heart. I want to talk about investing in real estate for 2024. And who better than to ask Edison over here. Edison's a major celebrity, in my opinion, from where I'm standing on TikTok. He's got a lot of experience, and was able to invite him back again. So yeah, looking forward to our little chit chat.
Yeah, I think the pleasure is all mine because of this setup over here, right? This is a dream for a lot of us. Yeah.
It's my front porch.
Not many people have front porches in Singapore, FYI.
I was fortunate, yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I think it's a pleasure here, and to exchange ideas, right? Yeah, I learned a lot from you as well, and that's where we propagate our seeds and ideas into the YouTube and the TikTok realms, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we can make more controversial content.
Yeah.
And speaking about controversial content, we're going to talk about something a little bit more controversial. So, you made a couple of videos that went viral, and fortunately or unfortunately, 3 of them offended or didn't sit well with some people, and you were asked to take them down. So here's the $64 million question. How do you seriously feel about that? About having to be asked to take down your videos, even though you were factually right, but you were asked to take them down. So,
yeah, end of the day, I think I seriously feel like in Singapore, like you mentioned, we mentioned over lunch, the freedom of speech, is it there? Is it not there? We don't know, right? Yeah. In certain sense or in certain industries, we are still being stifled by people in power. Yeah. We are not going to name names today. We are not going to name anything at all, but it's just factually what happened. Yes.
Unless I get you drunk, then we can talk about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why I always tell people, when you're drunk, you tend to relax and you start to talk more. Yeah. So there were exactly 3 videos, like you said, yes. And the first video was about, as you know, very upsetting, and then it got more and more upsetting from 1, 2 to 3. First case was about maintenance fees. Yeah, it's already public information. I don't have to elaborate more that certain place started to charge more maintenance fees than was previously communicated.
Right.
So I was asked to take that video down.
Right.
That video had about 10,000 views already in 10 hours or 10 to 12 hours. This was first case, without elaborating, right? Yeah. Okay.
No details.
Yes, no details. Yeah. Second case was about something that was already sold to a buyer, and then I gave my opinion that buyer had other options. I said, hey, why buy this one when you have other options? That's it. And some people got upset about it, and again, I was forced to... Okay, I was requested to take the video down. So, yeah, okay, second video down. Third video came
but they asked nicely. They took you to Din Tai Fung lunch, so they did ask nicely. So
I had a nice lunch and a nice chat with a person that I respect a lot. I like that guy a lot, as you know, right? I respect him a lot and I like him a lot, and that's why I gave him face. I there's no monetary value in me resisting.
Right.
Well, by keeping the videos up. We don't make money through TikTok at the moment. Yeah, in the US, I think they start monetizing already, but then in Singapore, it's not being monetized yet.
No.
Yeah.
Not for TikToks anyway.
Correct. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So 2 videos down, 1 more to go. Third video, I talked about specifically. I talked about an event that had a couple of elderly people who were feeling a little bit unwell during that event. And I was asked to take down the video. Yeah, so 3 videos in a row, and upsetting lah, upsetting. But without going into further detail, like I said, I don't want to, I don't want any more this kind of thing. Yeah, but I was asked to take them down, and this, to me, is just nonsense lah. If you ask me. Yeah.
Well, if somebody bothers to take you out for lunch, a very nice, expensive lunch, and then to ask you to take down videos, number one, it shows that you have some reach, which is a good thing. Number two, that your opinion matters. So that's also a really good thing.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that.
Right. And when are you doing yours?
I'm going to think of very controversial, so I can get a Ting Tai Fung lunch as well. Yeah, but well, we do it for different reasons. We do this podcasting for different reasons. Like you said, that there is no reason for us to do it, and for us to make money from it. We don't. In fact, if anything, this costs a lot more money for us to set up, and the time and effort that we have to put in, the amount of preparation, the amount of research you have to put behind it is quite a bit. So yeah. Anyways, good job with what you're doing, and I personally am looking forward to a lot more content.
Yeah, same here. Like I said before, a lot of my audience, despite the size, come from a majority of men between the ages of 35 to 55. So I hope by persevering with our content creation, we actually empower more people, Singaporeans or foreigners alike, to think about how to better spend their money lah, and then park it into the right places instead of their fancy luxury items. Yeah,
right.
I don't drive a luxury car, and I don't flaunt my nice clothing and stuff lah. So maybe it's because I can't afford it. Yeah, but even if you can afford it, then what's the point, right? Yeah. To me, what's the point?
Right. I think the point here is to basically get the information out, and what people do with the information is up to them.
Yeah.
As content creators, you kind of just want to do as much content as much as possible, and let the powers that be decide what they want to do with the information. So
yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about our first topic that we had planned, and that was review in 2023. It's a very broad review, but in a couple of paragraphs. So what do you think of the real estate market? How was it like in 2023? What are some of the highs and some of the lows?
2023, if I could summarize it or sum it up in a couple of sentences, I would say the COVID surge has ended. COVID surge, they brought a lot of the rents up, they brought a lot of the prices up because of the FOMO effect, right? If I don't buy now, what happens? Now I have no place to stay, I need to stay in Singapore to keep my job. A lot of Malaysians, right, were stuck in Singapore during COVID, drove the demand up the roof, off the roof, and charts and everything all broken. So a lot of landlords took this opportunity to jack up their rents, and it worked lah for a couple of years. And we already know at the end of 2023, it's no longer sustainable. Yeah, so I can say that rents for now is going to stay low or muted for a good while.
It didn't drop. It didn't drop. Per se the last. By a significant amount. It didn't take a dive.
Yeah.
There was some. It reached some kind of normalcy.
Yeah.
So it didn't go up like every month 2 to 3%. So by the end of the year, you got 30% increase, in rent, and it's like every week, every time you put a place for rent out, you get like 50 applicants in, and that was just nuts. This year saw a bit of normalcy to that, but we're gonna circle and come back around to that. I have a different view of where the rents are going to be next year.
Okay.
But what else about 2023?
To add on to rents, right? If you take stock of an actual example, you go to Property Guru and you search Normanton Park. How many listings for rent are still there? The last I checked last week or 2 weeks ago, because I was on vacation. 2 weeks ago I checked. Normanton Park had 1,000 over listings for rent.
Wow.
One project. one project, thousands over listings. Of course, there can be duplicates, 2 or 3 agents marketing one unit. If you look at the Hougang area, District 19, you have Florence Residences TOP already, all collecting keys. You have Riverfront already collected keys for 6 months. What else? You have Affinity, a triangle of 3,000 over units.
Tampines Treasure as well.
Exactly. Tampines Treasure 2,000 over 2,200. How to find tenant? Yeah, a lot of them are now having difficulties. Yes.
I agree with you.
So this is I think one of the closing points for 2023.
2023, my personal condo unit came up for rent. The previous rent was $3,000 a month. It was a 2-bed, 2 baths, 800 square feet, freehold condo, but it's a fairly old one in District 9. And I had rented it out previously no more than 3,001, 3,002 to 3,003. So this year, understanding that there were a lot of units out in the market, I didn't I want to break the rental numbers again. The guys upstairs, had the rent they were trying to rent their unit out for 5,500. Very, very, very big number.
Ambitious.
Very, very ambitious. So it's still, and because I know that there's a lot of units out there, I said no. I'd rather rent it out now as opposed to wait later on and then have it sit empty for a couple of months. So I said 4,003. And so 4,005, and then somebody came in and says, "I'll rent it up for 4,003." So for me, it was a huge bump. It was a huge jump in rent from 3,000 to 4,003. But even though the upstairs they were asking for 5,005, I didn't care. I much rather rent it at a lower rate, but way higher than where I was, before, than to sit around empty for a while. So this year, one of the biggest problems was that a lot of projects caught up and they were able to get TOP this year and a lot of units out. But here comes a very interesting number for next year. We know that one of the major reasons of COVID was in 2024 there will be a lot less projects that were TOP, and the reason for that is really quite simple. If in order to collect your keys in 2024, you have to work 3 years backwards. Basically, when developers they come in, they want to build a place, they need 3 to 4 years to build a place. So let's just say 2024, in order to build and have keys available, you need to work back to 2020, 2021. In 2020 and 2021, we know that very, very little land was released, simply because we were smack in the middle of COVID. And most of the foreign laborers were sitting in their dorm rooms. Everybody, was like, basically couldn't work. The whole economy was up to, down to standstill. This is probably going to affect the next 2 years, 2024, 2025, a lot less keys. And the $64 million question here is this: where do you think rents are going to be in the next 2 years? You think they're going to be stable, or are they going to slowly climb up?
In the next 1 or 2 years, I would say the prices, like I said, demand is now very low, but then it will slowly recover. My own condo, if you remember, I've marketed it for about a month or two. I can't get it rented out. I got to reduce my prices. So I have, at this moment, 5 or 6 houses for rent. They are going very, very slowly.
Very few
it's
inquiries.
Temporary I would say it's temporary, but the drop in demand is very obvious. It's very obvious.
I don't think it's so much the drop in demand. I think it's a drop in it's the increase in supply.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe it's the increase in
momentum. 1,000 over, or maybe at least a couple of hundred units come on the market. 2 years ago, there was no such thing. There were very few. Any units that went on the market, bam, you get 50 calls within the first 24 hours. It was insane. It was like, everybody was begging to want to rent that place. And right now it's like, what happened to all these people? But knowing that, because we also know numbers from the past 1 year, the Singapore's population grew by an extra 5%. That's a huge jump in 1 year, 5%. So we know that 360,000 foreigners came in. and these people came in for various reasons to work and et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, when they come in, they need to stay somewhere. They need to live somewhere.
Yep.
So the question here is this: was 2023 a case of too much demand or too much supply?
Yeah, you're right. The bumper crop of TOP projects, right, came up was just
Insane,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, it's just insane. I think it will soften. It will soften, but as you can see, recent news has said that a lot of new increase in supply is coming up soon in the first half of next year. URA has just released their list, right, of the next few
GLS
pieces.
land.
Yeah, GLS land.
But not TOP.
Yeah.
TOP is very, very much less.
Yeah. Is that
Say something.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Yeah, it's recording over there.
Yeah. Recording.
Okay, let's do more.
Audio running.
Oh, it's just nice we finished one also.
Yeah. Yeah.
We finished the rental thing.
Yeah. Correct.
And after that, okay. Prices wise,
How about PSF? How about sales?
yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So to continue, 2023 prices they went up still, as usual. We saw land prices go up as well. We saw Jayden, holy crap, Jurong East, average price 2,400, 90% sold. It's very hard to wrap my head around that. Jurong 2,400 sold, and the biggest and the highest transacted for that was 2,800, 90%. So 2,800 in Jurong per square foot. Holy crap!
It's so hard to believe, right? And
it's very hard to wrap my head around that number.
yeah, I agree. So you saw on the Straits Times article, they were interviewing this guy who was in his 50s, and then his daughter was, I think, 21, 22 or 23 years old. He said that, hey, I'm buying this unit 2-bedder because my daughter likes it. So no need to take loan, so just use the daughter's name, just buy and put it there. Because these guys, they know the math, they know the finances, and they have worked hard all their life. But when I post on TikTok, and then the commenters, you see all the haters, all the sour grapes and all that stuff, you sometimes you just roll your eyes lah. I just feel like they've never seen hardworking man earn his keep and then spend his money. What's wrong with that? Yeah,
Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong, Yeah.
It's okay, it's like
Yeah,
always see sour grapes people.
Yeah, exactly. So Jayden versus the reserve. If it was you, you only had a choice. Jayden or reserve. About the same price,
Yeah.
Which one would you buy?
It's a toss up for me. I maybe this is a good way to get my Ding Tai Fung.
Like, this is an unalterated opinions, right? Yeah. We choose one over the other without saying the other is bad, right? We say one is better than the other, but we don't say which is worse.
My biggest problem with reserve is because it's right beside PIE. It's literally you reach out, you can touch PIE from there, and that doesn't sit so well with me. But in terms of location, obviously, reserve is much better, and I mean, Jayden's got a good thing coming. We're going to see a huge transformation in the Jurong area.
You did a video on the West transformation before.
The Jurong,
a long one.
JLD, I did. It was my first YouTube video, so I did that.
A long one.
I did a lot of research on that, and so that part, as far as the potential growth for that, I think it's going to be possibly the next Pongo in the next 10 years. So return on capital that would probably slightly age a little bit in front, but 2,800 for Jurong. It's very hard for me to wrap my head around that. Yeah. Reserve residence, if you go like 2004, I can still wrap my head around that because it's right in front of, it's like Sunset area where all the landed is, and it's you got so many good schools all around. You got Hwa Chong, you got National, you got right in front, I believe it's Ngee Poly. So all these are, that is easy. That's easy for me to convince myself for reserve. But Jurong, oh my goodness, it took me. I was very surprised. 90%. I was very, very surprised. 90% sold on the first weekend, and at a whopping price. It was. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was very hard for me to decide. But reserve, it was just because it's so near to the PIE. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get a stack that's facing that, you face the other side, then you're fine.
Yeah. There were some
Premium stacks that were inwards, right, facing towards the pool, and there was
this jutting out stack, a very special stack, 88 or 98. Wow, that one was
the king, you know.
developer. I thought Far East was holding it
Right.
for the launch. You cannot buy during the launch. Yeah, if I remember correctly. But then again, my memory sucks. Okay, yeah. So same lah. I feel the same way as you lah. Very shocked. But however, I think maybe it's the Capitaland brand name. I believe. Oops. Turn off again. Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
Sure. As long as I can see the REC, right? You're saying?
But the REC is blocked. I'm just gonna take this thing out. Screw this.
Okay.
So as long as you see the REC, every now and then.
REC on the bottom left.
Yeah,
Can.
one more taping. That's for the synchronization.
Yeah.
Let's check the other one. Yeah, this one's still going. No, that one's still going also.
Okay, you can see from here, right? You can see from there, right?
That one I can see there.
Nice.
My eyes is there, but I can't. Yeah, it's very hard for me to look
No
at
problem.
this one.
No problem.
Okay. Okay. So, we did 2023. What were some of the other highlights that came out in 2023 as well, as far as condo prices are concerned, or as long as real estate prices? We saw landed come down in 2023. Is this trend going to continue? What was the main reason? What do you think landed prices the prices coming down for the reason?
If you ask me, my personal opinion, landed prices have there would be a plateau lah. If you ask me, because you see the PSF. What's the PSF now for OCR landed? Maybe 2003, 2004.
Not so high.
Not so high.
Not so high.
2001?
Depending on how recent the build is.
Yeah.
If the build is brand new, it can be around 2000 plus. But if it's older, like a lot of the landed houses right now in Singapore, because there's very few new ones, then it will be 2007, 2008. But it tracks new launch condos. If new launch condos, you're selling at 2004, right? So hey, if you're gonna spend 3 mil for a condo, why don't you just top it up with an extra 2 mil or 1 or 2 mil, you can buy a land.
Yeah.
And landed is freehold, most of the landed houses in Singapore.
Yeah.
So, but it might not be so new. So that's fine.
Yeah. TDSR is a problem, isn't it? Yeah. If you want
TDSR
to
is
Go for a $5 million loan, or you want to go for $5 million landed house versus a $3 million condo, TDSR would be hindering you from attaining that $5 million landed.
What do you think the TDSR would be for a $5 million home? How much does a couple have to make?
Monthly about 50, I think 50, 60.
50,000.
50, 60,000, right?
No, not too much.
Too much? No, wait, let me think.
quick
So
math.
my friend, I mean, not naming names, my friend had this monthly about 70 plus.
70,000.
Yeah, their monthly income lah. Their monthly family income
combined
is about
income.
70 plus combined.
It's still a lot of money. Yeah.
It's a lot of money. Of course, they have good jobs lah. Regional directors of MNCs lah. They bought a 5.35 comfortably. They bought a 5.35 comfortably after selling away their EC. Oh, the EC made easily
B-Tang.
Oh my gosh. B-Tang, more than $500,000. Just in a span of 8 years?
8 years. Okay.
3 years to construct and 5 years to stay, right? B-Tang. That's the right way. That's the way to go, right? Tap. Step up. 5.35. Today the house worth 6.5.
6.5 mil.
Yeah. Serangoon Garden, Semi-D. Yeah, Serangoon Garden, Semi-D. Semi-D corner, Semi-D.
What was the land size?
3,200 plus, I think.
Wow.
I think,
so so it's close to almost 2,000 for Serangoon Gardens.
That's right. Reasonable. Yeah. The structure is only about less than 10 years, if I'm not wrong.
And they get to go and eat chom chom every day.
Oh yeah, walkable distance. Yeah. Wow.
But the traffic sucks. No offense, that little circle there.
No choice lah. I think anybody who lives in Serangoon Garden knows already, and they enter it willingly lah, knowingly.
心里已经准备好了。
心里准备好了. Yeah.
So they can walk in and say, okay, I'm prepared for this.
Yeah. So the smart ones, right? Or not the smart ones. They know lah. You want to have 2 exit points.
Yes.
In Serangoon Garden, you need to have the one with 2 exit points. If you don't have 2 exit points, then you don't buy.
You need to be close to it. And then you need to know the flow hours.
Yes.
When is the 高峰, you know.
Yes. Then 你要知道你出高峰的时候你要出左边还是右边的 One may go to the Tavistock that side, and then the other one go the other side. Yeah. So that's how it works.
Serangoon Gardens. When I saw some of the prices for Serangoon Gardens, it has one of the fastest growing in terms of price over the last 4 to 5 years. It's insane. I think one of the reasons for landed prices going up so much, especially during COVID and just after COVID, was because Singapore is a land scarce and they're not releasing any new ones. No more freeholds. So the supply is CEO, so it's very rare. It's not as one. It's not as a lot as it was in the past. So that's the reason why. And it will continue to grow as well.
Yeah. And as you already know, Serangoon Gardens is the biggest landed cluster estate in Singapore. So the more transactions there are, then progressively you can.
Yeah, and it's also quite central. So it's unfortunately it's central to CTE.
Yeah. That's right.
Causing a little bit more traffic jam on that, but still nonetheless a good area to live in.
Yeah.
And prices are creeping up very, very quickly. Like you said, there's a lot of demand for it.
Yes.
There's always a lot of demand for. In fact, landed for even more outskirt areas like District 28, like Yio Chu Kang. Also, we saw a fairly large increase in that. The prices kept creeping up, but this year was a little strange from the last 3 years. We actually saw price significantly coming down, at least 5-10%, in some areas, and owners were not trying to record high every month anymore. So they will be coming a little bit more like, hey, I need to be a little bit more down to earth. I cannot keep everyone. Oh, my neighbor sells 6 million. That one 6.5. It was that was a little bit better.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I think landed would be going that way. How about HDB? What do you think? What was the year like for HDB?
HDB, you see the top end of the price curve, right? Hitting new highs again and again and
the
again.
latest one was 1.3, 1.5.
1.5 something, right?
1.56 or something.
Yeah, somewhere there lah. Almost 1.6 already.
Siao,
Yeah. Just I don't know, is it poor financial planning or whatever lah? What do you think? You think people who buy 1.5 something HDB, is it
I think
matter of?
I think they're so tired of buying condos at 1.3, 1.4. It's so tiny, it's so small, so tight. And they said, no, I just want the space. I don't care about swimming pool. I don't care about the gym. I don't use this kind of stuff. I want my livable space to be much bigger. And then a lot of people buy their HDB and then they do up. It's like super, very, very nice.
The palace,
Yeah, like very like you watch on like stack homes and you see some of the interior design that they do inside with the space. Lovely, beautiful, very, very nice. So they prefer the space than the pool downstairs or this one. So that's why I think HDB prices have been going up, but the smaller ones haven't. Like the 3 bedrooms, the 4 bedrooms, the 5 bedrooms, they've maintained the price a little bit. But I think by the end of this month, December 28, 5-room HDB flats will start flying.
Because of the private property sellers, right?
Yes,
well,
because of the 15 months.
Yeah.
The 15 months restriction will end. The first time it was announced, the first day of it will be basically 28th of December. So that's another interesting number to watch. Chances are 5-room HDB flats and above will go up even more, and the bigger ones, the mansionettes, the maisonettes, and all that. Oh my goodness! I have no idea. Next year will be very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. these bigger sized flats will still retain their value quite well.
And
for
those
the next
people who
couple
want
of years.
those people who want to downgrade, and those people that says, hey, I lived in condo very tired already, so now I just want to downgrade, but I want a bigger living space. I mean, everybody can always do a bigger living space. Then yeah, I never use the pool anyway. Every month pay $500. I never use the pool, so no use.
Yeah.
That's a very common saying.
Yeah.
And then he says, no, but I spend all the time in my living room. Yeah, I want a small place for my study. That's a more practical side for most people. So I think HDB prices will continue to grow in 2024. That's my take on it, especially the 5 rooms and the executives, because a lot of people that bought 15 months ago, with the new regulations, they said, hey, you can only sell your HDB, so you can only buy a 5-room HDB after you have sold your condo or your private property 15 months. And that's only if you're above 55.
That's right.
So if you're not above 55, then you can't. So these people will probably come in with a bit of a vengeance, and they will be swallowing up all the other, swallowing up the possible units up in the market. That's my guess. I think there'll be a mad rush for it.
Yep, I think so too. I had a client who sold off their condo and then had to wait out the 15-month period. She sold off her condo not at the cooling measure announcement date, but 2 months before. So effectively, it's 13 months. She could have bought much earlier than December, which is October. Bought already. So, do you think this policy of 15 months is temporary or permanent?
Don't know.
It seems like it's a temporary measure, right? Just to quell the surge that time. Too many people were trying to leverage, not leverage, to take the opportunity to cash out their condo and then.
Let's just put it this way, if the numbers for HDB, for the $1 million HDB numbers, every other month we see record number $1 million HDB prices, keep going up.
Number of flats, absolute number of flats.
Yeah, the number of the number of flats actually being sold over $1 million keep climbing, which it did this year.
Yes.
And the price keep climbing. This will not be 15 months. It will be 18 months, or they'll come out and say, I'm sorry, if you bought your condo before, you can't even, I don't know. That's my guess. It will go the other way. It won't be lifted, it will be added. So that's my guess. Because the government says, no, we need the space for young people. You older than 55, you go.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, y'all got no more family, right? So you stay in small room.
Yep.
We give you the 2-room flexi. All the big rooms give it to the young people.
Yeah, correct.
So the question suddenly that came up
into my mind, the elderly or the retirees, they sell off their condos. They take that $3 million or $2.5 million, right? Then allocate $1 million to buy the HDB flat. They still have a sizable amount of funds.
If you buy a 4-room, it's less than that. So
right. They have a sizable amount of funds. It's a good 7 figures. What are they using it for? What do you think? Put in a bank, collect interest, or what? Or are they
savvy enough to
invest it well? Because they still have to use it for the next 20 or 30 years, right?
This is the biggest problem, in my opinion, with Singaporeans. I'm one of them. So this is the biggest problem with Singaporeans, in my opinion. Singaporeans' financial literacy is not there. We have very few options of investing. The older folks in the 50s and the 60s are not savvy enough. Most people are not savvy enough to basically invest their own funds. Basically, they don't know how to invest. They have no financial literacy. And people who are in their 50s, 60s, most of them don't want to learn new skills. Or they find, I already cannot think, learning very slow for me. Something along that line. Or they prefer, no lah, don't kacau me lah. I already stressed my whole life now. I want to relax, enjoy. So if you had $2 million you put that $2 million in a bank, you're in my opinion, in a huge ton of trouble. Because if you, let's just say if you're 62, you retire, you basically, assuming you live until 82, 85, and then you got like husband and wife, so you got $2 million cash. If you don't invest that wisely, if you leave that in the bank, you're so screwed. you are super duper screwed. Because you basically, if you, 2 million divided by, don't live so long, divided by 20 years, every year 100,000, more than enough. If you throw in a 4% inflation rate, which is, it's going to happen for the next 10 to 15 years. A 4% inflation rate is not going to go anywhere. That's another whole video. We can talk about why. 4%, your $2 million strings 4% every single year. By the time it reaches I'm trying to think. By the time it reaches the 10th year or so. Oh shit! Why does this keep going on? Oh, internal temperature too high. I mean,
For the internal heat, internal high
heat.
temperature or something like that.
Okay, that's one signal. One more time, sinking. Where were we?
We were saying $2 million, right, in the bank. Good or bad? Yeah.
$2 million in the bank is bad. It's a really, really bad idea. If you had $2 million, if it was up to me, I would put that in something that will at least match inflation. Because you put it in the bank, you're losing 3% a year. The bank gives you 1%, inflation is 3%. So your money goes down. You keep drawing down that. You can't even keep up with inflation. If you were to buy a unit trust in Singapore, is horrible. I don't know about your experience, but most of them don't really make money for you. They make very little, 2%, 3%. At best, they slightly better than the unit trust. It's slightly better than bank interest. The best, in my opinion, is to have a diversified portfolio, i.e. put some of it in equities, in REITs. Basically make sure that, for example, this is one of the things that I did for my client. One of my clients came in and he said, hey, I own one HDB and then I own one condo. What do you think we should do? I go, okay, give me your numbers. I gave them a spreadsheet, and after they gave me the numbers, in terms of cash flow, in terms of what their current condo is, how much they owe, I spent 8 days, and I came out with basically an Excel sheet, and says, okay, this is what's going to happen. If you were to keep this thing in 20 years' time, this is what you have. But if you were to sell your HDB and then you buy a condo, this is what you're going to have in 20 years. But if you were to do this, and if you were to sell your HDB and then you take this money and you go and buy, let's just say Sing Song REIT, this is the number you have in 20 years. Then I said, because you are 45 years old and you can use the power of leveraging to make more money, the best number is actually to go and sell a HDB and then go buy a condo, because the condo worst case scenario is that it will track inflation. That's the worst case scenario. So but again, not every condo would work with the formula. You need to properly select one. And when it came to the HDB part, I said, look, HDB, the prices, not everything will hit 1/1,000,000, and the chance of you hitting 1/1,000,000 is not the statistics. The numbers are against it, because if you look at numbers like, for example, in Ang Mo Kio, you look at numbers, even Bishan very expensive. No, you can find really good deals like four bedrooms who are that still cost $600,000-700,000. So they don't really track inflation that well. So when you do the math, at the end of the day, it's a really bad idea for you to keep the money in the bank. You have to find a way to educate yourself, to get some financial literacy, to put this number into an instrument that helps you make money. Worst case scenario is to keep up with inflation. Because even if you retired with 1 mil today, we spoke at lunch, if you retire with 1 mil today at the age of 62, husband and wife confirm not enough money to last for the next 20-25 years. And you're absolutely right. You're one illness away from very, very bad shape. Assuming you have no illness, you still don't have enough money. So that's the downside of that. If you, in terms of cash, whatever you think you have, now that it's enough, it's not enough.
Make a wild guess.
I'm also going to make a wild guess. How many percent of Singaporeans at the age of 62 now have $1 million?
Less than
Wild
10%.
10%, yeah, I agree.
Way less than 10%.
Yeah, 10% or less, cannot be more than 10%.
They have more than 1 million in terms of potential capital gains, i.e. more money. But in terms of, the house, being worth more than 1 mil, but in terms of pure cash, no. So what it means is that at least they have some capital to draw down on, i.e. their real estate. But if they don't have that, they're kind of screwed. But if they had that, and if they want to get rid of it and extract the capital from their house, as I say in the early 70s, it's a huge thing. So in your 70s, you're basically saying that, I stay in Bishan, very comfortable for the last 30 years, 40 years of my life.
Yeah.
Now, in order for me to draw down the capital, and I cannot anyhow draw down, if I draw down from a 4-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, you don't draw a lot. You draw at the most 100, 200,000 at the most,
Yeah.
And then if you were to draw down more significant amount, then you have to go to Niao Santan and So, now I have to live in Sembawang or Woodlands and something which I am not familiar with.
Yeah.
Then you go that's the only way for me to draw down the capital, let's say another 200,000. Then you go it's a complete change of lifestyle. I'm so used to going down to my kopi, kopitiam, see all the other uncle there, we all sit down and talk about the good old days and all that. But now I'm forced to do this and you go walao, it's a major change, especially for somebody in their 70s. And I think you've seen some, I've seen some as well. In their 70s, they ran out of funds.
Yeah.
Over lunch, we spoke about, I met a listed company director, he and his wife, they were forced to sell their condo and they're in their early 70s. And they basically ran out of funds. And it's a publicly listed, company director. He obviously made a good living, but even he had trouble, on the cash front. At 70, the only money he had left was basically stuck in the house, and he had to sell the condo and then after that go buy a 5-room HDB flat. Of course, I think that was before the 15-month thing. And it was very sad to see him, one of the more successful people in our society, a company director, and then now he has to upheaval his entire lifestyle to live something, a separate one, a different one. So yeah, it was very painful, and then to see that the guy was with an agent who didn't give a rat's ass about them.
Exactly.
Understood the guy, but.
Exactly. Now that you talked about it, right, I also just remembered I had this client in his 60s, same, CMO listed company, CMO listed company, had to sell off condo in Hillview, moved to a 4-room flat in Bukit Batok. It happens to the best of us. Can you imagine how about the normal people, the common man out there who were not C-level people in listed companies? How are they faring today, right?
Yeah.
So this is time bomb, right? Like you said in the last podcast.
And the problem here is this. The reason why this problem is now in our society is because the Singaporeans are just not financially literate. They don't know what to do with their funds. I mean, if you're in, for example, in a place like the US, where you put your retirement funds into a 401k, and 401k is basically managed by folks like BlackRock. Those guys have economies, just these companies, these funds, their AUM is ridiculous. It's
trillions, right?
It's in the trillions. It's like 10 times our reserve or something, some ridiculous number. If I remember correctly, their AUM on their books is like 3 to 4 trillion. Our reserves was like 300 billion or something like that. So it's like more than 10 times our reserve, for an entire country. So they get really good deals to invest in. When they invest, they get very good returns, like 8%, 9%. Worst case scenario, the Dow Jones Industrial Index gives you an 8% return, which is enough to keep up with at least inflation. But in Singapore, we don't have that. We only got our equivalent is CPF. Our CPF gives you what, 2.5, 2.6%.
Yeah.
Manakau, then what, 40,000, 4%? Come on, seriously. The other side, it tracks the Dow Jones Industrial Index. At least you see the worst case scenario. You buy an index fund, you get over the last 16 years 8% return. hey, 8% at least beats inflation, as far as today is concerned, right? So at least you can live off of that, right? When Singapore, we really need to do something about at least educating the older folks, the 50s, the 60s, or give them at least a few more options, because they don't have a lot of options, they're already at that point of time where they don't want to take risks with whatever they have, you see. So I cannot go and anyhow bomb. This thing gone, hey, what's he got So you got a massive problem over here. I don't know how the government is going to solve it. No bloody idea.
Yep.
You retire today, worst case scenario, 5 years ago, just before COVID, if you retired with $1 million in cash, confirm you'll run out of cash in less than 10 years. Correct? You yourself say, right? Not enough to live, right? If you were to die today, your insurance can only pay out 2 to 3 mil. How is it going to take care of your family?
Exactly.
Bokawan, confirm bokawan, not with today's prices, right?
Yep.
Where are we going to be in 10 years, in 20 years? It's more jialat. So the older folks, all those in the 60s, all those in the 70s, if they didn't plan for this, I really have no idea how they're going to plan the next thing. I really hope government finds a solution for them. Otherwise, the old people, 60s, 70s, are going to be a huge burden on the economy.
Yeah.
And as we grow in 2030, 1 out of every 4 will be above 65, as opposed to 2010, where there was 1 out of every 11 or 12 or something like that. So, 1 out of every 4 above 65, in 2030, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
That's a bloody big number.
Yeah.
Our aging society is very scary. And if you don't take care of them, or if they don't have the means to take care of themselves, we are so screwed. What do you think?
I think you rightly pointed out that it's a ticking time bomb, right? So I just thought to myself, is it time to tell all my friends who are staying in a HDB flat today to sell away their HDB flat and go to private? That is something like the easiest way to tell yourself to take care of your retirement, because so many of our clients today at 65 cash out, right? But this is one way to spend it correctly. But having the means or the avenue to cash out is already a bonus in itself, right? That's very important already. But holding on to your HDB until you are 65, that is, to me, not very healthy or not very smart, in my opinion. So that's why I also lose money, sold off my HDB, and I had to just go and put yourself in a position where it's growing faster than inflation. So dangerous. Yeah.
It's very scary. So I had a client a couple of months back. She's 62 years old. She's a teacher. She's about to retire in another 2 to 3 years. She came about a bit of money from an inheritance. So then she called me and said, hey, I can only buy a 4-room HDB right now. And I need to wait 15 months in order for me to buy a 5-room. I said to her, I says, please, I beg you, can you consider looking at a condo, a freehold condo that has a space that you require, but not very new. And the worst case scenario, this condo should match the capital growth, or inflation rate in Singapore. That's the worst case scenario. And I told her, I said, chances are, unless you know what to do with your funds, this is a slightly safer way to go. And if you put your money in a bank, it's going to shrink every year. 2%. It's like, again, 4% inflation, 1% or 1 point. I don't know what the interest rate in the bank right now is, ridiculously low. You're losing 3% a year on your money. So unless you know what to do with your funds, maybe consider a condo. It says, God man, but now the condo was so small. I said, yeah, but that's for brand new launch. You don't do a brand new launch. You look at older condos. And I gave her a whole list on this. She was like, oh, can. Then my other partner, who's a real estate agent, he says, but then 1.5 million can find. Can find. But she want very big. I said, yeah, can find, don't worry. He says, but don't worry. We show her first, then after that, if she wants in the areas that she wants, then maybe have to go up that number a little bit. Maybe 1.7, 1.8, confirm sure can find. I said, yeah, 1.7, 1.8, no problem, can find. Especially, she wants a such a big to the house of extended family. I said, yeah, that one can find. This is okay lah, but we get her used to the idea of 1.5 first.
Yeah.
Now after the 1.5, then she was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not so bad. I think this is a better use of my money. Others I let it sit in the bank, it's going to shrink. This one worst case scenario, I've done my money over here. It should keep up with inflation.
Yeah.
You know, numbers shows us okay, then you just go to an older freehold condo. You go to older freehold condo, and the thing I like about older freehold condos is got squash courts. There's this earlier with squash courts. Don't ask me why, but the new ones confirm don't have.
Okay.
The old ones got.
Yep.
You got your own squash court. You know, you go inside, you smell the awful smell of sweat,
Rubber balls.
yeah, and rubber balls, and that stale smell because you know the last time it was mop was I don't know how long ago, but at least the worst case scenario, you know, it sits on very good assets. The plot size is really quite big. There's a chance for it to be en bloc. There's a chance for it to be, you know, there's so many pluses to it. It's just not new, but you can make it very livable for you.
Yeah.
And it's a much wiser investment. So while new launches keeps going up, this one confirm sure tag along. It will be a laggard.
Yeah.
It won't be at the foretip, but while new launch prices 99-year goes up, the freehold will continue to follow and tag.
Yeah.
So I told her, I says, please consider this. You know, really seriously, it's not a bad investment. And she said, oh yeah. I said, unless you know what to do with your funds, then otherwise please consider this. And you know, and people at the age, you know, in their 60s, they don't want to take a lot of high risk. They don't want to buy, you know, put it in equity. They don't want to go and, you know, put it in, definitely not in blockchain. Definitely not in a super high risk one. So I'll go and buy a stupid NFT or something like that. But at least put in something tangible. The worst case scenario, in my opinion, real estate, freehold, it will track inflation at least. At least that's the bare minimum. Chances are it will outpace inflation. That's a bonus. But worst case scenario, it will track inflation.
Yep. My friend also like to say that these two words. He uses this word called gap up lah. Gap up. So if you see the new launch prices slowly going up, the resale ones they don't follow immediately. They gap up slowly, lag behind by 1 or 2 years. Never mind, it's okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's actually
you're playing a long game, right?
Yeah.
You're playing a long game. You're staying in there. You're enjoying the facilities, the smell of the squash court while you slowly gap up with the new launch prices. That's it. Yeah, simple as that, right? This is the simplest way to make good use of your money and not just keeping it in the bank and slowly seeing it getting smaller and smaller.
Agree. So, if we want to at least keep up with retiring with a decent amount of money, my take is please get some financial literacy in your life. If you can't, get somebody who understands it. Yes, most real estate agents are not financially literate to be able to read numbers. They are very good at opening doors, and you know, it's like I will get the key and open the door and show you and tell you which facing it is, and maybe crunch the numbers for you. But at least go find someone who can at least crunch the numbers for you, or get your son or whatever, you know, your grandchild or your son or somebody to crunch the numbers for you, because it's a very scary future, especially the next 10, 20 years of your life, especially if you're going to retire. And it's a huge problem. No bloody clue how the government's going to solve this. In 2000, right now, we're already seeing on the ground there's so many old people running out of funds by the time they are 70 years. So it's going to get worse. It's going to be a huge problem. Massive problem.
I agree.
No idea I don't know what the government's going to do, seriously. And there will be a huge upheaval of a lot of people's lives. I don't think it's very fair. People who've worked their entire lives, and then at 70 years old, I'm sorry, you have to move now. You got no more money, you have to move. But I saved so hard, I worked so hard. I was, you know, I was a good man. You know, a mother, and I took care of my kids. And now you're telling me at 72 years old, I got no money, and now I have to move. Wow, it's very silly.
Yeah, I agree. Even if they are stuck in their HDB flats that are fully paid, right? Some of them, they feel very secure now because they say, hey, I got no more loan in the 50s. I got no more loan. I can stay in my HDB until I die. No problem lah. No stress lah. I got CPF enough already. Is it really true or not? In my heart, I have to argue that, you know. I really have to argue that.
I've seen a lot of TikToks of agents who do it. I mean, agents who lead teams of 1,000 over agents and they say, oh, faster pay finish, no more loan, relax, brother, relax, enjoy, go down to the seaside, enjoy. I see these people and I really want to shoot them in the head. It's the wrong advice. It's really the wrong advice to tell them to relax at the late 40s, early 50s. No more stress. Don't need to think about mortgage anymore. You can enjoy life. You can't enjoy life unless you have a few $1 million in the bank account. If you have, good for you. And if you properly invested, good for you. But if you don't have that, you can't. You still need to plow and put your whatever you have on your hands to good work, to give you a better return. Because you got another 30. If you're 50 years old today, your average lifespan for a guy is 82, for a girl is 85. You got another 32, 35 years old, 35 years to go. You don't plan for 35 years, but at age 50 you want to retire. Hello, should I? You should run out of funds on. Confirm should run out of funds on. Unless you are damn rich, and unless you have the financial literacy or savviness to invest that. Oh my goodness, it's the wrong advice. Relax, faster pay, finish your mortgage, then you can relax. No, bro, and if you're 50 years old, you got the key point here to investing is very simple. How much money you can borrow? You got 15 more years you can borrow. Make the use out of 50 years old to 65 you can borrow for 15 more years.
Yes.
My tool, faster go.
Yes.
Faster go and leverage. Because you're leveraging whatever funds you have. Okay, you put it in the bank, you make 1%, 2%, whatever the number is better. You buy, you go and buy Sing Song REIT, good, you make 6-7% a year. You go and buy Maple Tree, whatever, you make 5-6%, 7%. Not a bad return, that's good. But if you leverage it, if you can borrow, if you put 25%, you leverage 75%, whatever you have on hand basically grows roughly, even on a conservative number, if you do the math right, it grows roughly 18 to 20% a year, whatever your punci is. That's how real estate is. That's why everybody makes a lot of money from that. So yeah, you got 15 more years. The question here, two questions: how much you can borrow, and more importantly, what your cash flow is per month. Two numbers you look at. That's all. That's all you look at, and then after that you make a decision based on that. It's not the right time to relax. Faster finish paying your mortgage. Hello, bro. Don't finish paying your mortgage. Don't. It's stupid. Because the faster you finish paying your mortgage, you're not growing your funds. You're not making your money work for you. And it's very bad. So.
Especially if the HDBs are aged ones. Those faster paying up your HDB, 40-year-old HDB, 35-year-old HDB, they're not growing already. There's no more capital appreciation for you.
Yes, because it hits the Bala curve. You know it's the Bala curve.
The Bala curve.
When you hit the Bala curve towards the 40th, 50th year, your appreciation is it's off a cliff. It goes down the cliff. So you're basically looking at the number of years left, and then roughly how much your monthly rental is. There's very little capital gain. When it's 40, 50-year-olds. And so you're talking about Toa Payoh, Ang Mo Kio, Queenstown, a lot of these
Clementi
flats.
You have Bedok Bedok has
all
so
the
many.
mature estates.
So many old flats.
Dialogue.
Yeah.
And then let's just say if you run out of cash by the time you're 68, and the only other thing of value to you is your HDB, and you happen to you live in Bishan, or if you happen to live in Ang Mo Kio, even more jialat, then you want to access the capital in your flat. How? A complete upheaval of your life. If you, assuming you live in a 5-room in Bishan right now, and you say, I want to stay nearby, so you go down 2 steps to a 3-room HDB, you can at most access 300,000 at the most. 300,000 也不了了. So you take 300,000, you can live another 10 years with 300,000. No offense. You can't. It's impossible. I don't care how conservative your numbers are. Every day only 1 kopi can already.
菜本 one meal, 1 kopi.
So 菜本 already what $5-6 already, and that's like 1 meat, 1 veggie, and 1 egg. That's it. It's ridiculous. And this number is going to get worse. So you're 300,000 right now. If you so we're in a lot of trouble. we're seriously in a lot of trouble, in my
Yeah.
opinion. If you don't invest well with the money you have in your hands,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, at least take this and put it into something that gives you 7-8% at least minimum. Yeah, you're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that's where we step in, and we want to try to share as much as possible experiences from our friends, relatives, and then put it up into content, right? So that the common man out there, like me and you, all this, we can grow together.
And worst case scenario, if we don't provide the solutions, we can at least bring out the topic to talk about.
Yeah, correct.
That's all.
Yep.
I'll be happy with that.
Yep, that's true. And then what about your next few guests? You're planning to bring a few more, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
No. How to invest in 2024? What is Edison's grand scheme of plan in terms of how would you invest in 2024? Let's do this for 3 different areas. If you are a first-time buyer, if you are buying to invest, and number 3, if you want to upgrade, what would Edison do? I'm curious.
Okay. For a first-time buyer, depending on your income, I think.
How old are you for a first-time buyer?
I'm 40.
No, not now. I mean, if you're.
If I were a first-time buyer at maybe the age of 30 to 35, because this is when people start getting married, right? 30 to 35 nowadays. Yeah. I would say, depending on your level of income, if you can qualify for a BTO, I don't think I should stop you lah. BTO has always been proven to do well after the first 5 years. If not then you just buy a private property lah.
That's on condition if you have a significant other to buy a BTO with lah.
Correct.
Otherwise you have to wait until you're 35. Right?
Yeah, and then if you are LGBT or then you also can't. The government don't allow you all to get a BTO yet. Yet. So go for a private lah. Okay. So first time buyers, I think that way. Okay. Then for investment.
No. What? So you would buy a BTO lah?
First time buyer, I would say if you can get a BTO, just get a
But
BTO.
can BTO make you money?
For the first 5 years, I still think there's opportunity for that. Yeah, but of course now there's this prime and the plus model, right? Prime and plus models have 10 years MOP. I would, from my perspective, I would say I would try to avoid that. I'll try to avoid the prime and plus model. This is again just personal opinion lah.
Yeah.
You want to buy it, go for it lah. You just have to stay You just have to stay there for 10 years. Yeah. With Singapore nowadays, a lot of us like to be more mobile lah, and got a little bit more mobility. For example, today you get a good job in the US, you get a good job in Australia. Then your 10-year MOP how? Right not? Then you cannot rent the whole house out, right? Yeah. So that's kind of like stifling us. We are global citizens nowadays. You travel to the US don't know how many times a year. So don't tie yourselves down. You got a good job, go and experience. Yeah, that's my take
That's
on it.
brand new. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Right? How about you?
If I'm young, if I'm 30, 35, depending on what my financial situation is right now, I would decide whether to buy a BTO or not. That would not be my first choice. My first choice will not be a BTO, because the problem here is BTO, especially if you're 30 years old, is this. It takes a few attempts for you to get a BTO, assuming it takes you 5-6 attempts for you to get a BTO. So every quarter you try. So let's just say on average you wait 2 years to finally get a BTO. After the first 2 years, you get one on an average, let's just say a year and a half, 18 months later, or 24 months, you finally get your choice. And then after that, you wait another 3 to 4 years for you to get your keys. And then after that, you wait another 5 years for your MOPs. So we're talking between the age of 30 to 40 years old. You're not going to be able to do anything in the real estate market, because if you do, you incur ABSD, and that doesn't make sense in terms of investing. So in today's world, to build wealth, especially between the ages of 30 and 40, I would try and avoid it like the plague, of BTO, because it doesn't make sense for you to build wealth. If anything, HDB is not meant for you to build wealth anymore, seriously. Unless you buy some place, like if you're so lucky to get, like Keppel is going to come up soon, and then, oh wow, Kyoto, man, I ballot straight away, I get that. unless you get places like this. But understanding that if capital were to come out, it will be oversubscribed by, I don't know, 10, 15 times at least. So your chance of getting that is slim to none. And, you know, it's like your queue would not be right up there because there will be a lot of, you know, people out there with more deserving conditions for them to get. So if I'm 30 years old, no, I'll avoid that like a plague. I would probably, in order to build wealth, because 30 to 40 is very critical years to build wealth, not only because of your earning potential between 30 and 40, but more importantly, your ability to borrow.
That's right.
Your ability to borrow is a lot now. You got a lot of runway there now. So you know, just find how much. And then between 30 to 40, right, most people's career take off more significantly. So it gives you the ability to also move up and trade up very, very quickly. So you can build wealth a lot quicker. So within a time period of time, you say, oh, every 3 years, I just got another bump in my salary, I got this and that, so I can, upgrade. And before you know it, you know, in 10 years, maybe you can have a change of portfolio maybe twice. And so you can level up very, very quickly. Not with a BTO, because in BTO, you're literally signing a 10-year bond. I cannot do shit for 10 years. So I wouldn't do that.
Great point as well.
But it depends. It doesn't work for everyone. So if your significant other and you only have this option, right? Then it says we don't make that much money and our maximum budget is BTO and go, and you're really, you know, want to set out and start a family, you know, really quickly, you know, it's not a bad option. But to build wealth, not the best idea in my opinion. Not the best way to build wealth.
I'm one of the examples, right? In this type of scenario, I missed out the golden years, 30 to 40 period where I bought myself a resale HDB. So of course there is a lot of遗憾, a bit of regret that I didn't make the right choice, mainly because I didn't have an agent to guide me along that time. So I'm not the financially literate person at 30 years old, still fooling around with my money, not knowing how to invest it. So that's why we want to make sure that now that clients come to us, right, we give them the right advice. If I was at 30 years old, my income was not good enough to buy 1.5 million condo or 1.2 million condo, what are some of my options? I would still think if I put myself back there, then a BTO would have been a better choice. But I was in a sandwich, right? I couldn't qualify for the BTO, and then I didn't buy a private, so I stuck at that then, and too bad. Missed the best time of my life.
You can, technically speaking, if you can go and chiong an EC. If you're a first time buyer, faster, that is a wonderful alternative. Unfortunately, next year there's only one EC launch. Lumina.
The Lumina. Lumina.
Bukit Batok West.
Bukit Batok West. There is a government land sale, right? Pasir Ris, Jalan Loyang Besar.
No, there's one in Tampines, but that one won't be launched until 2025, if I'm not wrong.
2025.
First quarter.
You are right, because the government land sale happens in 2024. That means that it will only launch in 2025, right?
Correct.
Wow.
So next year, technically speaking, there's only one.
There's only one.
I got an Excel sheet for that.
Going to sell out already,
So you either Lumina or don't have. The trouble is most people, once they hit in their 40s, right, they exceed the requirement for a household for EC. So you can't do it. So if I'm 30, 35, squeeze out an EC if you can. I mean, that would be EC is confirmed bitang.
Correct. Correct.
Unless. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble.
But
Gaia hasn't sold very well, but that's another topic for another day.
North Gaia, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That still has units, if I'm not wrong. So
maybe less people want to live in Admiralty. In the north side, northern part of Singapore.
It's a Neopusandan Difa.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if you're looking at Tampines, Bukit Batok, places like this where it's a little bit more mature, like these estates, EC is a wonderful choice because confirm bitang, you should make money from that. But normal BTOs, unless you get yourself a good BTO, places like Keppel or Whampoa or somewhere around this area, then it's good investment. Other than that, generally speaking, the chances of you making a ton of money from BTO is slim.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as high.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I would invest in a condo, a resale one, if I can. Why? It allows you the flexibility to level up very quickly, you see, and to buy value for money.
Yeah.
And not go for a new launch. So.
Okay. Ah, interesting. Because it hasn't kept up yet, You think so? Yeah. The resale hasn't kept up to the new launch prices yet.
Yeah.
But it will eventually. Yeah.
It's a good entry point, in my opinion. I think I would do that for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go the BTO route. Not today.
Correct.
Because the BTO route ties your hands for 10 years.
Yeah.
Ties your hand for 10 years.
Yeah.
You cannot make a significant investment move for 10 years.
Yeah.
Painful,
right.
especially between 30 and 40. Oh, siao.
Yeah.
You lose out so many opportunities.
Yeah. True. If only I could go back to 2015, right? Instead of buying a HDB, I bought a condo.
So don't look at what happened.
Yeah, don't look at the past, right? Yeah, just look forward, right? Yeah.
If you're an investor, how will you invest?
If I'm an investor, I would look at the commercial. I would give a second look at the commercial segment. Yeah, commercial
There's no
segment.
ABSD, no?
Yeah, no ABSD. Yeah, there are different types. There are many types, right? Got offices, got shop houses, got shops, got.
That's
different
assuming you own one residential.
types. Of course, yeah. Do the residential first because whatever you stay in, and if it can
Serve two purposes, right? One, fight inflation. Number two, can
stay. Why not, right? This one kills two birds with one stone already.
Correct.
Settle that first before you start thinking about the commercial part. But for sure, a commercial. A second one will be a commercial.
Second one will be a commercial. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too well versed. I'm not like a global citizen like you, where you can see opportunities in different countries. But still Singapore is still very safe, a very safe haven for a lot of us.
See, there's a saying that if you want to buy real estate, the best real estate to buy is what you know, and I think rightly so as well. You can draw trend lines, best for areas that you understand, that you know. You can drive down, you can take a look at the place.
Yeah.
As opposed to not knowing the place and then buying based on brochures and all the glitz and glamour that comes with the marketing videos out of it. That's a very dangerous way to buy. So I don't like that method. I don't care what the developer guarantees in terms of whatever crap. Over the last couple of years, if it's a developer, especially from China, we've heard how many of them have gotten themselves in trouble, and then also recently how a Chinese developer got themselves in trouble with Malaysian projects and so on. So I rather buy what I know. And what I know is basically two areas. One in Singapore and the other is in Silicon Valley. So I understand that area. And I don't mind investing in areas because there's a difference. There's a highway over there. It's called 101, and it connects Los Angeles and San Francisco. In Silicon Valley itself, if you're the east side of 101, the price is X amount. If you're on the west side of 101, the price is 10-15% higher. One stupid highway. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's one stupid highway. But on the east side is 10-15% lower, and that side is like, doesn't make sense, but that's the idiosyncrasy of the area. So if you understand things like that, or and there's another road also, a very long road, but a very tiny road. It's called El Camino Rail, and again, you fall on the east side and west side also got difference. So if you don't know the area, don't invest lah. But if you know the area, invest on what you know. So for me, I'm fortunate. I have two areas. I can invest in the US. I can invest in Singapore. If I buy another property in Singapore, it will be commercial. So I won't look at a 20-year left lease. I try and pay a little bit more, buy a smaller unit. Doesn't matter, but freehold or at least with something a little bit more years on the lease. Maybe closer to 30 years, and then live off the cash flow. Cap gain would be very little, but it's okay. As long as you get good cash flow. Because some of the cash flow quite scary, some of the cash flow can go as high as 8-9%. And again, it boils down to one important component: ability to borrow for that. So if you can borrow faster, go and buy it. Don't wait already. So that would be the investment plan I would go.
Same. I would say that for myself as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. What was the third one?
The third one is upgraders.
Upgraders, yeah.
Well, upgraders, a very interesting topic. I think for upgraders, in a good market, you sell high, right? But you also buy high. In a bad market, cooling market, you sell low, but you also buy low. So if you upgrade, generally speaking, my clients upgrade, right? You upgrade in a cold market lah. So you sell low, never mind, but you also buy low because you're upgrading your 3 million. From a 1 million one, you want to go to a 3 million, right? So you get a better, bigger discount at the 3 million one versus you sacrifice a little bit on the 1 million. That's my opinion. A lot of us, I tell my clients, hey, you want to upgrade, right? Wait for a cold market, you upgrade. Because 你要买跟买 at the same time, at the same year, right? So that's me. I just want to tell them, upgrade when it's a cold market. But who knows, next year, is it a cold market?
Yeah, next year. What do you think the prices are going to be for next year?
I think buyer will have more choices. So buyers can take their time to choose. So I got a client, real case. I got a client who was looking to sell their HDB and upgrade to a private condo resale. We looked at a condo called, I don't mind saying because now it's all resale. Okay. The Minton, a big project at the Hougang area. A lot of the units there. Nobody will call me to. So the Minton, a lot of listings are still on the market. Few months later, still on the market. Yeah, slowly the price, the owners asking will fall. So I tell my friends, I tell my clients, you don't need to rush lah. Your HDB already sell record price already, 摊丢了. Then they go and rent a HDB, enjoy 4K a month. I think they rented a HDB for 4K a month. Yes, it's a lot of money to some people, but to other people, they feel like, hey, the convenience, the school registration is very important to them. Primary school registration is very important to them, so they need to rent at that place first, while they bide their time to enter the
Next year very important, no. Another factor to take in consideration. 龙年
Oh, yeah. That's it, 龙年.
There'll be a lot of babies.
A lot of babies. Yeah, there's a lot of babies. People like to give birth.
Must consider,
Yeah.
faster go and everybody's planning for a dragon baby.
Yeah, understand. The Chinese like the dragon babies.
And then when you got all the 龙年, all the places with good school, the
Not
prices
enough schools, not enough preschools, not enough kindergartens, everything. How you can give birth to a 龙年? Statistically, do you see 龙年 babies performing better in their career? I don't know about that.
My father is a 龙年, so
okay.
But no, I totally agree with you, but Chinese being what they are, so, they will want a dragon year baby, and a dragon year baby may not necessarily perform better or whatever, but it is the
auspicious mascot.
I didn't even know what kind of dragon it is next year, but apparently a lot of people are planning to have babies next year. So
really,
I think next year's market is gonna shoot up in terms of prices simply because the push behind the biggest win on this particular sale is still inflation. There's so much liquidity in the market that is so insanely huge, and the biggest factor over here is the GLS. The GLS numbers every time you see a government land sale happening, the numbers keep going up and keeps blowing your mind, and you go like, are you kidding me? 13604 Toa Payoh leh. I was like, the land sale is $1,360 for Toa Payoh.
Yep.
By the time it's built, and when it sells, minimum confirm 2526 Toa Payoh leh.
Yeah.
Wow, piang leh.
Yep.
Okay, but then having said that same thing about Jurong, and Jayden, it's not unheard of lah. So 2526, I think it's on the low end. It probably launched to 728 by the time Toa Payoh launches, probably end of next year or early part of 2025. It's probably going to be at that price. That's my guess. And then we'll also probably see the closest EC price, being launched very close to 2,000 per square foot, in my opinion. Probably, oh shit. Oh, that one.
Your one is out, is it battery?
Yeah, it's on a battery. Never mind, lah. No way. We just continue taping now.
Use that one to
Yeah,
continue.
this, the one is that. Yeah, so that's my guess, 2000.
Yeah, lor, because Toa Payoh has the most expensive HDB flats, right? Yeah, so
No, lah, not the most expensive.
the most expensive HDB flat 1.53, right?
Is it from
Is the peak, the DBSS at Toa Payoh, the peak. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, exactly. So Toa Payoh has a lot of pent up demand, if you ask me, lah. Very little condos there.
No, 8 years, first condo.
Yeah, exactly. So the last one was the Gem.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pent up demand, like you said.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think the prices are going to shoot up like crazy. So, what piang wei? Let's just say 2728 for Toa Payoh. What piang wei? That's insane. It's really it's very. I grew up in Toa Payoh, so I was born there, and
Yeah.
it's very hard to wrap my head around that. That number is very hard to wrap my head
Understand.
around that number. So
Will everything,
Do you think it will take a lot of time or just very quickly?
everything else will gap up?
it will definitely get.
Depends on
Supply and demand, right? Huh?
There's more than enough demand. There's more than enough demand. The problem is there's not enough supply.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, lah, but it's very scary. I think the next year's numbers will be very, very scary. Rents will go up and probably shoot through the roof because, there was so little land released in 2000 and 2021 because of COVID. So
Okay.
rent's going to shoot up like crazy because the Normanton Parks, the Tampines Treasure, and all these.
Will all be slowly eaten up, slowly taken up.
With all the new growth of the new foreigners. So by the time this inventory goes down in terms of rental market, probably by middle of next year.
You're right, lah.
And then by middle of next year onwards, the rent will continue to shoot up like crazy, in
Okay.
my opinion, because there's less keys, TOP,
Yeah.
in 2024 and in 2025. So rent's going to go up. Prices are probably going to throw. It's like very scary. Everything is just going. And government land sale, it just keeps going higher and
Yeah.
higher and higher. It's like,
Yeah.
and the cost of building is not coming down, it just keeps going up. So scary. Next year's numbers are very, very scary. I mean, as real estate agents, we don't benefit with higher land prices or more expensive condos. We don't give a rat's ass about that. But it affects the rest of the economy.
Yep, that's right. And I always tell my clients, if you think about it, why are developers bidding so high? Because number one, it's competition. Capital Land, Fraser, Kingsford, whoever. They are
Everybody,
competing against each other, correct or not? And these big listed companies have teams of research analysts inside working for them, So if they are bullish about the market, right? Who are we to go and say, hey, market sure crash one, cannot sustain? How can it be?
I don't think it will crash.
Yeah.
Not by a long shot. Yeah, because these people, they have the pulse of the buying. I mean, again, Jaden.
They have all the data. Okay, they tell you that Capital Land, all these guys have the data to support their bids. Correct. Yeah.
Hill Haven.
Oh, Hill Haven.
Beginning of next year.
Okay.
Guess what?
Okay.
They are targeting 80% sold first weekend.
Wow. Very ambitious. Is that by Far East? Far East, right?
80%. That's what I heard. So.
They're targeting 80% sold. How about Sora? Sora is also targeting 100% sold, right? By
Sora.
launch, they want to sell
Still
out, right?
far away, 3 months away.
3 months away,
Yeah. But Hill Haven is about to, it's
About to be launched this year?
The hyping has already started on the ground already. So because sale is expected to go online January 20th, so we're not very far off.
I see.
Yeah.
Where is that again? Hill Haven?
Hillview.
Okay. This traditional condo enclave lah. Yeah.
Very near, very close to Jaden.
Oh, yeah.
Tama.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So Jaden can do 90. This one, and it was oversubscribed by 4 times or 5 times, right? You did a video on that.
Yes.
So yeah, very interesting numbers for Hillview's Hill Haven, because the other problem here is this: there hasn't been a new launch in Hillview for a very long time. So and all the condos there are quite old. And then we know MRT coming up, so it's not very far from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are being very bullish about it. But being
see.
Far East, we don't expect low price.
Yeah, traditionally they've been always known to have pricier stuff, right?
Yeah. So look at what they did with. They did a really good job with launching Reserve, and even though they are land price was really low, less than 1,000. Their launch price was not low.
Yeah.
So I don't think they will, launch it low as well for Hill Haven.
Yeah.
I think it'll be quite high.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
Definitely fun to watch.
Hillview, their first project in many years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. They had a couple of them near the Hillview too, right? What was the name of that? The other one that had the pins that block out the. The name is escaping me. They had one 99 here by Hong Leong one. Yeah, never mind. When I remember.
You can make a video of it.
Yeah.
See whether you copy again. I'm going to so find a new topic to go see whether I can get my thing typo now.
It's just,
Yeah.
I got nothing to say for now. I just gotta rethink my strategy, on TikTok and all that stuff. Yeah. Not easy.
Anyway, it was fun talking again.
My
see
pleasure.
us again soon.
Yeah, see you again soon.
Because it's also good for us to talk about stuff that we learn from each other.
Yeah.
And more importantly, this is us being in a very comfortable thing, and we're not hose barred, and it's like So we are like, whatever you want to say to say.
Correct. We're going to try to have no red tape and all the bureaucracy surrounding us, all these things.
Okay. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Let's do it by monthly or at least.
Yeah, we
monthly
can.
will be a
set it
bit
up.
xiong because it takes me 2 weeks to do the
Yeah,
taping.
I know. Because of the vacation, we would have done it earlier. Yeah, this is
It
December.
was fun.
Yeah.
And the last time we did it, I got 20 over videos out of it, so I'm very happy.
Wow.
And now it's going to be worse, you know why?